طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hopefully everyone is doing well wherever you may be. Last night we were speaking on the hadith regarding when should the people stand up. When should they stand up? When they see the imam, when the iqamah is made, etc. An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he says here regarding this issue in light of the different ahadith that Imam Muslim has reported in his Sahih, he says here وقوله في رواية أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه فيأخذ الناس مصافهم قبل خروجه لعله كان مرة أو مرتين ونحوهما لبيان الجواز أو لعذر ولعل قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم فلا تقوموا حتى تروني كان بعد ذلك. قال العلماء والنهي عن القيام قبل أن يروه لئلا يطول عليهم القيام ولأنه قد يعرض له عارض فيتأخر بسببه. He says here that one hadith tells us, that we read last night, that the salah was established كان بلال رضي الله عنه يؤذن. Alright, طيب, and he wouldn't make the iqamah until the Messenger of Allah ﷺ would leave. Yani would come to the masjid, come inside of the masjid. Alright, and the interpretation of that last night. In another narration it says that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that the people would stand up and they would take their places before he went out. Before the Messenger of Allah went out to them. They would be in the rows already. They would stand up in the rows before the Prophet actually got to them. Some of the ulama, they say perhaps this was only a few times that they did this. And it wasn't the normal traditional practice for them to stand in the rows, straight in the rows, then wait for the imam. That's not the default. That isn't the default. Alright? Whether the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed the companions to do it for a few times to show them that it was permissible. Alright? Or the other hadith says, فَلَا تَقُومُوا حَتَّى تَرَوْنِي. It says, don't stand up until you see me. Until you see me. One hadith says, don't stand up until what? Until you see me. And other narration said that they stood up before he what? Came out to them. So there's no contradiction between those two hadiths based off of the interpretations that we just mentioned. And perhaps that the Prophet ﷺ, he said that after the previous hadiths. He told them, don't stand up until you see me. After the hadiths regarding they had stood up before he went out to them. They say the reason behind this is that the imam, he may take a long time. It's time for the salah, or it's a couple minutes before the iqamah, the people, they stand up, And the imam, something may happen. He may walk to the masjid, he may be entering the masjid, anything can happen. He may get an emergency phone call. He may break his wudu. There may be an emergency, someone comes to the masjid asking, begging, there may be a major what? A major problem. So therefore they will continue to stand for such a long duration, which isn't necessarily a good thing. He then says, واختلف العلماء من السلف فمن بعدهم متى يقوم الناس للصلاة ومتى يكبر الإمام فمذهب الشافعي رحمه الله تعالى وطائفة أنه يستحب أن لا يقوم أحد حتى يفرغ المؤذن من الإقامة ونقل القاضي عياض عن مالك رحمه الله تعالى وعامة العلماء أنه يستحب أن يقوم إذا أخذ المؤذن في الإقامة وكان أنس رحمه الله تعالى كذا يقوم إذا قال المؤذن قد قامت الصلاة وبه قال أحمد رحمه الله تعالى وقال أبو حنيفة رضي الله عنه والكوفيون يقومون في الصف إذا قال حي على الصلاة فإذا قال قد قامت الصلاة كبر الإمام وقال جمهور العلماء من السلف والخلف لا يكبر الإمام حتى يفرغ المؤذن من الإقامة. Now that's with regards to the interpretation of the hadiths. Now what is the actual fiqh ruling? What are the madhabs of the ulama? What are their positions in light of these collective proofs and evidences on when the people should stand up for the salah? When do you stand up for the salah? He says here, Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, his view is that no one should stand up until the iqamah is finished. That the people should not stand up until the iqamah is finished. It's the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. Not it's haram to stand up, but it's best not to. recommended to remain sitting until the mu'adhin has finished the iqamah. Imam Malik rahimahullah is quoted to have said, and also most of the ulama, called Iyad, he said that they should stand up when the mu'adhin makes the iqamah, when he begins the iqamah, without no specific place inside or in the iqamah. As soon as he starts saying Allahu Akbar, they should stand up. Tayyib. Others, they say that when the part of the iqamah comes, قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, then you should stand up. And that's Imam Ahmad's view. That's Imam Ahmad's view. As far as Abu Hanifa and other scholars of Kufa, then they say that a person should stand up when he says Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, Hayya ala al-falah. And at that point, when it is said قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, that's when one should make takbir, the imam. Abu Hanifa is saying that the imam should make takbir before the iqamah is actually finished. Very interesting. And most of the ulama say that the imam should not make the takbir until the iqamah is totally done. Until the iqamah is what? Totally done. What's important is it mandatory or just recommended? What's important is that you stand up and pray. And you follow the imam. But this is another example to show us how the ulama of Islam differ on what's the best method. A good way of doing it. The diversity of how they look at things. خيرا إن شاء الله تعالى. قمنا فعضلنا الصفوف إشارة إلى أن هذه سنة معهودة عندهم. وقد أجمع العلماء على استحباب تعديل الصفوف والتراصي فيها. وقد سبق بيانه في بابه. طيب. And then he goes on to speak about straightening the rows, mentioned in Sahih Muslim. Mashi, khairan inshallah. Let's move on to the next chapter, bidhnillahi ta'ala. Chapter 30. Bab man adraka rak'atan min as-salati faqad adraka tilka as-salah. حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أدرك ركعة من الصلاة فقد أدرك الصلاة. Chapter number 30 says, whosoever did one rak'ah or got one rak'ah of salah, then he has got that salah. Hadith number 353 is reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever could get or was able to offer one rak'ah of salah, he has got that salah. In other words, time is tight. Time is limited. For one reason or another. A person was asleep. That's one issue, one branch. Another branch is a woman who's menstruating. And she becomes pure, her menstruation stops. And it's enough time before the sun sets for her to make a ghusl and also make at least one rak'ah of asr. Am I clear on this? Or a person was at work, unfortunately. A person was stuck in traffic. A person is held up in the airport. A person was sick and ill, came out of surgery, was on heavy drugs, anesthesia, whatever the case may be. And he wakes up and it's time for one rak'ah left. Or, worse come to worse, a person delays the salah, waliyadhu billah. And there is only enough time for him to make one rak'ah before the salah leaves. All of these different sub-issues pertain to this main fiqh issue. And that is, if a person makes one rak'ah of the salah, then he is considered, or she is considered, to have made that prayer in its proper time. He's considered to have made the prayer during the proper time. Even though a person made one rak'ah, and then as soon as he finished, he came out of the first sajda, he stood up, Allahu Akbar, for the second rak'ah, then it's time for the sunset. The adhan goes off. Obviously, he's going to continue to make his 3 rak'at that remain from Salat al-Asr. But based off of this, is that he is considered to have made what? Salat al-Asr on time. With an excuse or without an excuse. Regardless of why is a person delaying a salah unnecessarily, that's not the point right now. Khairan inshallah. So Abu Hurairah, he reports that the Prophet ﷺ, he said that man adraka rak'atan min as-salah, he who catches one rak'ah of any salah, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, he doesn't specify which prayer it was, or even Jumu'ah, and that's another sub-branch. Someone comes late, he missed the khutbah, he missed the first rak'ah of Jumu'ah, of the actual salah, and now the imam is on the second rak'ah. Does he have to make 2? Does he have to make 4? Or does he just finish 1 rak'ah after the taslim of the imam? Everybody understand this? So he says, min as-salah, from the prayer. It's conclusive to all prayers. فَقَدْ أَدْرَكَ الصَّلَاةِ يعني فَقَدْ أَدْرَكَ تِلْكَ الصَّلَاةِ. Then he has caught that prayer. So there are many branches that all spring forth from this root. So this hadith, it shows us what we just explained in the chapter heading. An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he then says, أجمع المسلمون على أن هذا ليس على ظاهره وأنه لا يكون بالركعة مدركا لكل الصلاة وتكفيه وتحصل أو براءته من الصلاة بهذه الركعة بل هو متأول وفيه إضمار تقديره فقد أدرك حكم الصلاة أو وجوبها أو فضلها. He says that the Muslims unanimously agree, not the scholars, he said the Muslims, all of them, they unanimously agree that this hadith is not to be understood in its literal sense. That this hadith is not to be understood in its what? Literal sense. He says rather there is an interpretation, a technical meaning to this hadith, and that is that anyone who catches 1 rak'ah of the salah, then the obligation of the salah, the mandatory responsibility of performing in the proper time, he got. And not meaning that he caught 1 rak'ah, he has the what? The entire rak'ah. However, before we stop there, who understands the hadith like that? When you hear that hadith, Man adraka rak'atan min as-salati faqad adraka as-salah. He who catches 1 rak'ah from the prayer has caught the whole prayer. Who understands the hadith that he only has to make what? 1 rak'ah. Did you understand that when you heard that first time? So that's very interesting right there. When you hear the word adraka, faqad adraka as-salah, do you think that it means that I only have to make 1 rak'ah? So oftentimes, and this is not all of the time, but oftentimes in the books of explanation of hadith, you find certain explanations which are unnecessary. Because the language in the common sense is clear. It doesn't need this, it doesn't need that. That's how a person clearly understands it. And it isn't something which is problematic. Now that's a long discussion with regards to ilm al-kalam, okay, the different theoretical, philosophical, however you wish to word it, principles that Nawawi and others were raised upon, okay, the Ash'ari way of thinking and the majaz and this and that of the lugha. Oftentimes it led them to doing other things and different things that weren't necessary. Adrak. It doesn't mean that a person can only has to make 1 rak'ah. Khairan inshallah. Moving forward. He then says here, قال أصحابنا يدخل فيه 3 مسائل إحداها إذا أدرك من لا يجب عليه الصلاة ركعة من وقتها لزمته تلك الصلاة وذلك في الصبي يبلغ والمجنون والمغمى عليه يفيقان والحائض والنفساء تطهران والكافر يسلم فمن أدرك من هؤلاء ركعة قبل خروج وقت الصلاة لزمته تلك الصلاة وإن أدرك دون ركعة كتكبيرة ففيه قولان للشافعي رحمه الله تعالى أحدهما لا تلزمه لمفهوم هذا الحديث وصحهما عند أصحابنا تلزمه لأنه أدرك جزء منه فاستوى قليله وكثيره ولأنه يشترط قدر الصلاة بكمالها بالاتفاق فينبغي أن لا يفرق بين تكبيرة وركعة وجابوا على الحديث بأن التقدير بركعة خرج على الغالب فإن غالب ما يمكن معرفة إدراكه ركعة ونحوها وأما التكبيرة فلا يكاد يحس بها وهل يشترط مع تكبيرة الركعة مكان الطهارة في وجهان لأصحابهما أو لأصحابنا أصحابهما أنه لا يشترط. He says here that our colleagues, the Shafi'i ulama, they say there are three sub issues that pertain to this hadith. Number one is people who don't have to make salat. People who don't have to pray. When there's only enough time to make one rak'ah, what do they do when they become liable to pray? When they are responsible for praying, such as a child who reaches the age of puberty and there's only enough time for one rak'ah. Or someone who's mad, insane. Someone who's unconscious and then they what? Regain consciousness and mental health. A mincing woman, a woman suffering postnatal bleeding, etc. We mentioned that. And also a kafir when he accepts Islam. He took his shahada and it's only 2 minutes left before sunset. Does he have to make salat al-asr or not? Everybody understand this? As we just said. طيب. He says here, two main views of Imam al-Shafi'i. One of them is what? Or before then, he goes on to say, لَزِمَتْهُ تِلْكَ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِنْ أَدْرَكَ رَكْعَةً أَوْ دُونَ رَكْعَةٍ. First is that they have to pray, as we just explained. They have to what? They have to pray. They're going to make one rak'ah. The ghusl is done. A woman, she drives off. She gets dressed, and there's only enough time for what? One rak'ah. She has to what? She has to pray. Naam. A junub who makes a ghusl. Someone is deep sleep. He wakes up, and there's only enough time to make wudu and make what? He has to. He can't say, "Well, let me just wait and let the prayer go out." No, he has to make what? And finish it as well, like we explained. Khairan inshallah. Now the next question is, what if there's not enough time for a rak'ah, but there's only enough time for a takbirah? Is it the same or is it different? Did the Prophet ﷺ say these words, meaning anyone who catches a piece of the salah, time for what? A little bit. And he used the expression of an actual what? Rak'ah. And not meaning only a what? Rak'ah. Now that's a very technical issue. How long is one rak'ah on average? 4 minutes? 40 seconds. On minimum or normal? On regular?
Normal. Let's say 2 minutes.
2 minutes. But this goes to show us the importance and the necessity of knowing that which is a necessary obligation in the prayer. The leanest piece that you can cut. What don't you have to do in the salah? And what do you have to do in the salah? Fadl. Yeah, what you have on the least, the bare necessities of the salah. Making takbiratul ihram. Surah Fatiha. Saying Allahu Akbar, going to ruku' or not? We studied that in detail. Remember? The man who prayed badly. That's right. Abu man who prayed badly.
Not out loud. Just going Allahu Akbar, go down to ruku'.
So you have to say Allahu Akbar going to ruku'. طيب, no problem. Continue.
Hey, Subhan Rabbil Azim. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamidah.
You have to say that too? The man who what? We explain all of this. See how to fiqh. One thing, learn what? That was many hadiths ago. So one may say, Allahu Akbar takbiratul ihram. No raising of the hands. No placing the hands on the chest. Recite Surah Al-Fatiha. That's it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. That's it. And then go into what? Ruku' without saying nothing. Come out of ruku' for a second. Tuma'neen, got to be tranquil. Come out of ruku' without saying nothing. Go into sujood without saying nothing. Coming out of sujood back and forth without what? That's very interesting. So at least the bare minimum, one can make a rak'ah in how many seconds? 40 seconds. And on a normal standard time, raising the hands on the chest, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Subhana Rabbil Al-Azim, Subhana Rabbil A'la, etc. Everybody understand this? Let's say at least what? How long?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, مثلا. So this is going to be approximate. It's going to be what?
Approximate.
Relative. طيب, moving forward. المسألة الثانية إذا دخل في الصلاة في آخر وقتها فصلى ركعة ثم خرج الوقت كان مدركا لأدائها ويكون كلها أداء وهذا هو الصحيح عند أصحابنا وقال بعض أصحابنا يكون كلها قضاء وقال بعضهم ما وقع في الوقت أداء وما بعده قضاء وتظهر فائدة الخلاف في مسافر نوى القصر وصلى ركعة في الوقت وباقيها بعده فإن قلنا الجميع أداء فله قصرها وقلنا كلها قضاء أو بعضها وجب إتمامها أربعا إن قلنا أن فائدة السنة أو فائدة السفر إذا قضاها في السفر يجب إتمامها هذا كله إذا أدرك ركعة في الوقت فإن كان دون ركعة إلى آخره. Issue number 2. That is when a person has only enough time to make one rak'ah and the other 3 rak'ahs or the second rak'ah or the other 2, what are they? Is it qada or ada? And ada basically means making the prayer during the what? The time, not making it up. And qada means that you what? Yeah, that you're making it up. So he says that which is correct is that the first rak'ah, the remaining 3, the remaining 2, the remaining rak'ah is all what? All ada. All is what? Ada. Kulluhu. Everybody clear on this or not? He says that it's all what? Ada. And others they say whatever he caught in the time was ada and the rest was qada. And others they say that it's all what? Qada. But that's not correct. The correct view is that what? فَقَدْ أَدْرَكَ الصَّلَاةِ. Then he has caught the salah. Everybody clear on this? Type. Then he goes on to mention how this is beneficial when it pertains to someone who's traveling. Alright, he says, نَوَى الْقَصْرَ وَصَلَّ رَكْعَةً فِي الْوَقْتِ وَبَاقِيهَا. Then he type, the one who makes the intention to shorten the salah, he prays in time, there's only enough time for one rak'ah, then what does he do afterwards? Khair inshallah, let's move forward. المسألة الثالثة إذا أدرك المسبوق مع الإمام ركعة كان مدركا لفضيلة الجماعة بلا خلاف وإن لم يدرك ركعة بل أدركه قبل السلام بحيث لا يحسب له ركعة ففيه وجهان لأصحابنا أحدهما لا يكون مدركا للجماعة لمفهوم قوله عليه الصلاة والسلام من أدرك ركعة من الصلاة مع الإمام فقد أدرك الصلاة والثاني وهو الصحيح وبيقال جمهور أصحابنا يكون مدركا كالفضيلة أو يكون مدركا لفضيلة الجماعة لأنه أدرك جزءا من. طيب, the last issue is one who catches one rak'ah with the imam, does he get the virtue of the jama'ah or not? Does he get the virtue of the what? Of the jama'ah or not? In other words, the jama'ah prayer being multiplied 25 times, 27 times, does he get that or he just gets the salah of fadh, the one who's fard? Everybody clear on this? Same issue based off of the what? Previous issue. Is it qada or is it what? Ada. So those who say that it's all ada, they're also going to say that he gets the reward for what? Complete jama'ah. Even though he's making 3 rakats by himself. Everybody clear on this? Khairan inshallah. Towards the end of the kalam of An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala with regards to the fiqh of that issue. Right, let's move forward. Next chapter. The author rahimahullah ta'ala says Babu awqat as-salawat al-khams. Hadith Abi Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu qala سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول نزل جبريل فأمني فصليت معه ثم صليت معه ثم صليت معه ثم صليت معه ثم صليت معه يحسب بأصابعه 5 صلوات. حديث أبي مسعود الأنصاري رضي الله عنه عن ابن شهاب أن عمر بن عبد العزيز أخر الصلاة يوما فدخل عليه عروة بن الزبير فأخبره أن المغيرة بن شعبة أخر الصلاة يوما وهو بالعراق فدخل عليه أبو مسعود الأنصاري فقال يا هذا يا مغيرة أو ما هذا يا مغيرة أليس قد علمت أن جبريل صلى الله عليه وسلم نزل فصلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم صلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم صلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم صلى رسول الله أو رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم صلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم قال بهذا أمرت فقال عمر لعروة أعلم ما تحدث به أو إن جبريل هو أقام لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وقت الصلاة قال عروة كذلك كان بشير بن أبي مسعود يحدث عن أبيه. حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يصلي العصر والشمس في حجرتها قبل أن تظهر. It says times of the 5 compulsory salah, or the 5 compulsory prayers. Time for the 5 compulsory prayers. And obviously how we live and where we live, things are very, very different in contrast to how the Prophet and the companions lived. Just like when we explain in Kitab al-Tahara. How can you make a ghusl with a sa'? Making wudu with a mud, 2 muds. Imagine, just to say hypothetically, not saying it's the exact amount, but imagine making a ghusl with this amount of water. You may say that may cover my beard, doesn't it? Huh? We'll soak that up. Indeed, right? Everybody understand this? Imagine making a ghusl with what? With this amount of water. Mathalan. Some people, they may make wudu with what? More than, today. Everybody understand this? So, in my humble opinion, like we were explaining, the importance of realizing this. Because you read these hadiths, you may be, Kaif, the Prophet washed up with this. The Prophet did this. The companions, he told them to use stones. It's like air conditioning. You can't even begin to think about the hardship and the difficulty of life in the past. Refrigeration. Everybody understand that? You can't even think about it. Just think about when you lose your what?
You misplace it.
Not lose it, right? Just misplace it. It's under the sofa. Oh man, it is on ringer. It's on airplane mode. Or can I hear it? Find my phone. Everybody. I had on the Bluetooth headphones. The advantage of the old headphones. You can't lose your phone with the old Bluetooth. You may be in a place, right? So just imagine how anxious you become and upset you become. Now just imagine your wife is in Iraq and you're in Egypt fighting jihad fi sabilillah. How's she doing? She had the baby yet? What are the kids doing? There's no telegraph. There's no barid. You'll see her after so many amount of months or weeks until you get back to Iraq. Nowadays, just what? Assalamu alaikum. How you guys doing? I need something. Where's it at? Kada. Done. FaceTime. Everybody understand this? Skype or whatever you use. So oftentimes we can't even begin to think about how life was back then. Refrigeration, like I said, having the ability of keeping food and storing food, or a bathroom in your house. It's cold outside. You're sick. You're ill. You have a bathtub. You know, it was a luxury for many people to take a bath. A hot bath was considered to be what? A luxury. And that's why that hadith says it's mandatory for the Muslim to take ghusl once a week. Every 7 days he has to put water on his body. You may read that hadith in 2018 says, what type of religion is this? You only got to wash once a week? But Islam is not made for the what? For the most comfortable, luxurious situation. It's made for the what?
Every situation.
No, not that. And that's why they say in the famous Arab proverb, "Inna ad-da'ifa amirul raqb." They said that the weak one is the leader of the caravan. The weak one is the what? He's the leader of the caravan. The caravan has to move at the pace of the what? The weakest. Right? Not at the what? The fastest and the strongest. So, water in Arabia, how scarce it was. You can only imagine. Just think about it. Think of how scarce it is now. When I was in Saudi Arabia and I was in Medina for all of those years, on average, it would rain 3 times a year, twice a year. You imagine that? 365 days and it only rains 3 days, 4 days at most. Think about that. How many days does it rain in one season in America? Or in the UK, our brothers across the pond. 4
times a week.
Everybody understand this? So you can't even begin to imagine how life was different then. There was no running water. There was no tap. Okay? So when we start talking about how to estimate, or not even estimate, how to determine the times of the 5 compulsory prayers, we just use our Islamic Finder, or we use our app. We look at the prayer schedule, we look at the timetable, and what? Simple. Back then it was different. And just because a person has convenience and luxury and technology doesn't mean that he or she shouldn't actually sit down and learn what? The original organic way. Because you never know when you don't have service, right? You never know when you fall. You never know when you're in a situation in which you have to know what's the direction. You have to know what time. What's zawal? What does zawal mean? What is fate or zawal? What are these terms? It's very important basic skills, Boy Scouts, nah? They will teach you these things, or the Jawara Scouts. Huh? They would teach you these things. If you were a Jawala scout, how to light a fire, Khalid, how to survive, how to do the bare necessities to get to where you have to get if you're in a messed up situation or a difficult situation. So therefore, learning the times of the mandatory prayer, one may say, what's the purpose of learning this now? Kalas, it's so much technology everywhere you go. But that's not the best way all the time. Okay, and the same applies to studying. There's software that you use that makes many books of hadith obsolete. Without a question. There's no more use of this book. You can do it quicker, faster, and better with the computer, the software. But it doesn't mean that you don't actually learn how to use the hands-on, how to use the books. Remember clear this? Because you never know when the electricity will what? Go out. Or the computer will jam up. Or just to know and keep the tradition what? Alive. Everybody clear this? So knowing when to pray. And before you get into the technical, the practical way of learning when to pray, you have to learn it theoretically. Your theory has to be sound. So if someone was asked the question, when does Salat al-Dhuhr come in? What would the average person say today, Khalid? 107. What is the determining factor for Salat al-Dhuhr? Are we talking about anything practical get in the field? With a sundial, putting this gourd in the middle of the what? Of the open field. We're not getting something practical. Theoretically, ask a Muslim, the average Muslim, when is it time for Dhuhr? No matter what season, no matter where you are, it's cloudy outside. When is Dhuhr time? Average person is going to what? They don't have a clue about the actual theory. Let alone the actual practice. Sticking the stick in the ground and looking at the sun and measuring the distance, measuring the height of the shadow. 3 feet, 4 meters, etc. That's sad. You may ask a student of knowledge about the theory. When does Dhuhr come in? He doesn't even know. Let alone the practical application. Let alone what do you do when it's cloudy outside? How do you know when it's time for Salat al-Dhuhr and it's what? Cloudy. It's not always a sunny day. Everybody clear on this or not? Khairan inshallah. When is Salat al-Maghrib? When does Maghrib come in? How do you know that Maghrib has come in? When is it time for Maghrib? When the sky is dark? How dark should it be when it's time for Maghrib? Not that dark, huh? Not that dark. Some Muslims they may say what? When the sun sets and it's dark. What's meant by twilight? We hear that all the time. Twilight, huh? What is a twilight zone? But what is a twilight? I think most people know what a zenith is.
When you can't see the sun.
When you can't see the sun. Everybody see the point I'm trying to get to? Bismillah. Khairan inshallah. Tayyib. Also, learning these things like this is a step towards freeing yourself from blind following. Even if you can't free yourself from blind following 100%, but you can at least make what? And make partial. Be individual partially. So therefore, this prayer schedule says this one says that, this website, this imam, I'm confused. They're all sitting, they're all deviants. None of them is accurate, they're all wrong. I'm frustrated. So let me learn it my what? Myself. To the best of my ability. Everybody clear on this? And there's always going to be outdoorsmen and enthusiasts for nature, so on and so. There's always going to be people like this. Even living in the inner city. And I'm sure if you went on YouTube right now, living in the inner city, you could type in a video how to determine noon. How to determine twilight. How to determine the zenith. How to determine the sunrise. Even from what? Inner city when there are buildings and there's artificial man-made light. Everybody clear on this? So this is from the fawaid of learning these things, is that it frees the noose of taqleed from your neck. And it is a noose. You have to follow the next man. You have to wait for someone to answer their phone and pick up their phone and answer your question. Everybody clear on this? Instead of you having the ability to do it yourself. Or a person can do it, as we said, what? Partially, like home improvement. I can do the carpentry, but the electricity I have to bring someone else. But there's certain basic things that you can learn how to do with regards to electricity in your house. It can save you time, save you money, and it can keep your own privacy and give you more of appreciation of what you have. And when you go to sleep at night, I installed this. I put this in. Or a car that you drive, huh? Your first car that you get, you take care of it. You look after the engine. You do it what? All what? All yourself. Let alone following someone getting ripped off. following someone, them doing an improper job, or hakada. So this is crucial, brothers and sisters, learning when it is time to pray to the best of your ability. And if you don't wish to do that, and if you're pleased with simplicity, then that's fine. As long as you're following someone that's trustworthy. Following someone who's what? Trustworthy. Or one could say, in actuality, I'm not following this person. I'm following what this person has mentioned. Instead of actually following what? Wallahu alam. Khairan, inshallah. Obviously, salah, the second pillar of Islam, etc. We don't have to rediscuss that all right now. Tayyib. Last thing that I'll mention before we get into the actual hadiths is, when it comes to times of prayer, just like anything else, there are issues on which the ulama agree, and there are issues of which the ulama what? Disagree regarding the times of the prayer. The specific times of the prayer, and also the hadith that we read that Jibreel, who led the salah? Was it Jibreel or was it Muhammad? How many days did he come down? How many prayers did they make? What was the final determination? What form was Jibreel in when he led Muhammad in the salah? His angel form or his humanoid form? It's a real question. His human form. Human form. Ahmed. Allahu alam. Tayyib. Okay. Where did Jibreel come down upon the Prophet in Mecca or Medina? Mecca. In Mecca. Khalid. When was the salat legislated? In Medina. He said Medina. What year? Seventh year? After what event? Isra and Miraj. Everyone think about this tonight, inshallah, Think about it good, And read up upon it. And be now hopefully tomorrow, Inshallah we'll go over it. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu sallam mubarak. Ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.